Chris is he's our fastest age grouper across a number of distances. He just recently did a 3:57 at Bahrain 70.3, which is pretty phenomenal, and regularly podiums across all distances. So Chris is going to be racing on the Trinity this season, and he's also head coach of Total Tri, so he's going to talk us through marginal gains. Okay.
Right, hi everyone. So I guess Kate introduced me here tonight. It's been doing triathlon for like 20 years now, so I guess I've probably learned quite a bit over the years. And you know, as an athlete and sort of heading towards 40, you know, how do you carry on getting faster? You know, and as a coach, how can you pass on like the knowledge that you've learned over the last 20 years or so? You know, it feels like a long journey that I've kind of been on, and I kind of look back and think, you know, I wish I knew everything like I know now, and you know, if I'd known it when I was 20 or 25, it'd be like a different outcome. But you know, it's been a great journey, and you know, I don't sort of regret anything. So yeah, in terms of like marginal gains, you know, what do we think about? Well, I guess Team Sky come to mind, and you know, they've done some pretty weird and wonderful stuff in terms of the cycling world, you know, whether it's working with Pinarello in terms of bike development, or the wonderful Sky Team bus that they've got, or the mechanics truck, or, you know, the crazy stuff like individual cyclist mattresses, and, you know, they started the whole cooling down after hard stages of races, and, you know, individual nutritional plans, sports science. You know, they've definitely taken this marginal gains to the next level. But they've got like millions of pounds worth of budget to be able to do this. And what does it really mean for the normal athlete, if you like, or, you know, your typical age group athlete? So just move on one please for me. But just before we go into like the kind of like 3 or 4% that you might be able to get from marginal gains, you know, there's a lot at the moment about actually just not forgetting the kind of basics and the 95% to start with. So you know, within my company and sort of Total Tri, we have these sort of nine habits that I try and get athletes to sort of look at, and sometimes it can be about having the ability to sort of change habits as well. You know, when people think about like a turbo session, you know, they think about a 1 hour turbo session, but why is it an hour? Is that just a habit of being an hour? You know, what benefits could you get if it was like 75 minutes or 90 minutes? So, you know, some of the things I take my athletes through is definitely like around training consistency, that 1 or 2 weeks worth of training is not really going to deliver that race result. You know, it's about what you've done over like the last 6 months, 12 months, last 3 years or 5 years. So, you know, really try and, you know, get the athlete to think long term, and a lot of people come into the sport and expect big things straight away. You know, how can you look after yourself from a sleep point of view? You know, we're all trying to cram lots and lots of things into our lives, but you know, in terms of long-term health and recovery, you know, you definitely need like your 8 hours sleep a night. Good nutrition in terms of minimising sugar, taking on your proteins and high fats. One of the key things for me is around the easy training being easy and the hard. That how many times have we been out on like an endurance ride for like 3 or 4 hours, and, you know, in the last hour or two we've started like a smash fest and come back and annihilated each other, and then the next day when you have got a proper hard training session to do, you know, it's compromised in some way. So, and for us it's about understanding each session that we do, and the athlete really understanding what it means. You know, what are we trying to get out of each session? So just move it on one. And then there's just a couple of other things in terms of like regular massage and physio. You know, rather than waiting for a problem to arise before, you know, getting that massage, you know, is that a weekly thing you do or a 2 weekly thing? Strength and conditioning, you know, in terms of injury prevention. You know, looking after your equipment. You know, there's been a lot of talk tonight about aerodynamics. Spending, you know, £500 on a ceramic speed bottom bracket, but then, you know, you don't clean your bike and you're losing 15 watts in terms of a dirty chain. You know, those kind of things about looking after your equipment, and you know, you're less likely to have a mechanical come race day. And then being able to like use experts to improve, you know, whether that's, you know, your pedal stroke technique, you know, how to descend better, you know, investing that money in terms of you know, your ability moving forward. So that's just a few things that I sort of take my athletes through, and you know, I guess if you get all of those things right, then you're well on your way. So, but then when you've kind of exhausted all of those things, then what's next? And I'll just give you you know, a little bit of an indication in terms of, just move it on one, in terms of what I found in terms of the wind tunnel. So you know, I felt after those 18 years or so of triathlon that I pretty much maximised. I couldn't really do any more training, and so this was kind of the next step for me. So about 18 months ago, I went into the wind tunnel, and I guess I learned a lot. And a lot of people don't really kind of publish all of this stuff, because it's almost like their little added advantage over their competitors. But I make a big thing about, you know, trying to get my athletes to learn everything that's taken 20 years for me. You know, can they learn it in a sort of a lot less time? So, you know, when you buy a helmet, you know, most people are just buying a helmet because it kind of like looks good or it's a certain brand. But, you know, the first thing that you'll see, and I know the pictures aren't very good there, is that the tail of my aero helmet is like sticking up here. It was a sponsored helmet. I won't say who it was from, it doesn't really matter. But in terms of, you know, straight away being put in a different aero helmet that fitted my body position, then I was saving 20 watts straight away. I mean, how long does it take to sort of train and find that kind of wattage? So, and we tried different stuff in terms of skin suits and tri-suits, and you know, you think just because you've got like a tight skin suit on that they'll all be the same, but actually like the material you use straight away was like 15 watts. It's just incredible. And then things like, you know, being lower at the front, it's not necessarily going to make you faster, because if you've got like a higher on your aero bars there and you're resting your shoulder, then you know, one, you're able to deliver more power probably, but also you're able to just have that support to be able to like really crouch down. So, you know, there's lots of things that you can kind of think about, and you don't necessarily have to go and blow $1,000 in 2 hours to go to the wind tunnel, but you know, you can start to think about some of these things, and it can make a big difference. And then all the reasons why, you know, equipment choices, and I know Joe's going to speak quite a lot about it going forward. So you know, as I kind of like look forward and think about like what's next for me, and that's how you've always got to be as an athlete, about, you know, what can you do the year after that you didn't do for 2016. So, you know, I'm delighted to be able to ride on the Giant Trinity this year, and in terms of what I learned in the wind tunnel regarding, you know, having your nutrition there, rather than you know, potentially having some kind of bag strapped to your frame there, or you've got your integrated bottles. You know, I really think that like Giants have gone out of their way to really think about what the triathlete's going to need in terms of 70.3 and Ironman races. So looking forward to this being my little game for 2017. So